The strategies that I have been implementing to reduce my reliance on self-medication really has just been my medication. I'm one of those lucky individuals where I don't really have an addictive personality, or I'm not prone to addiction to substances. That's not to say that I don't have some vices or some type of, I wouldn't say call them addictions, more like disorders. I have found out that I'm a comfort eater, and when I have anxiety, I look like the Tasmanian fucking devil. So that's been fun to try and curb. Which, by the way, trying to curb that with marijuana has been a testament of stupidity, because it's like, oh yeah, I feel bad, I want to eat. Okay, we go off, smoke a joint. All right, I feel great, and I really want to eat. It kind of defeats the purpose, but everything else. Because of the medication I'm on, I have to decrease my drinking because the interactions. I have to time my drinking right with my medications. You know, there's one of those things where I probably shouldn't have a beer with a nighttime med that makes me drowsy. So I kind of try to figure that out. I try not to drink at least an hour before I take my meds, or or at least I wait until after I drank something to take them, or to drink after I take my meds, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It's about knowing. They always talk about drinking responsibly, but I take that to heart. Where I still love my beer, my whiskey. In fact, I would love to. Honestly, I could probably do a podcast about just the beers of the Pacific Northwest, and maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll actually get some views. But yeah. All joking aside, that's pretty much my entire strategy. Is just, I've told myself I need to cut back, and now that I have things that are allowing me to calm down, that are allowing me to feel better, that are at least combating the aspects that I've been trying to drink away or smoke away, it makes it a lot easier. And this is something else I would like people to understand, is that we all go through things, and there's a time and a place for everything. And this is the time for me to really be strict about my moderation. That's not to say that, like on a day off, maybe I'll tie one on. Maybe I'll have more than a beer that day. Maybe I'll have a couple beers, Is it a pay-per-view weekend? Am I watching my beloved pro wrestling? If I am, then I guarantee that six-pack is gone by the end of the pay-per-view, especially in the AEW one, because they're like 6 hours long. And sometimes I need the drink to get through the shit. So that's where I'm coming from, I mean, you can still call me an alcoholic, I mean, Lord knows, whichever one's listening, that I've thought at least once this last year or so, but if I am, I am. If I'm not, what's it to you? How often do I experience panic attacks and anxiety attacks since I've been on medication? I still experience them pretty much daily, to be honest. The anxiety attacks are daily. The panic attacks, thankfully, are not. And that's kind of a testament to my medication, because the anxiety attacks are just going to happen. I do have medications I take when I start feeling one coming on, which I just took one not too long before I hit record here. It's Yeah. Every fucking day, I have at least one anxiety attack. I do everything in my power to make sure it doesn't turn into a panic attack, and it can be anything that sets me off. Still, I refer to these as weapons, but they're not. They're not a magic weapon. They're not something that's going to alleviate my problems just because I took a pill. It's something I have to work at, and a lot of times it means I have to decrease what I do. Sometimes I can't be around a lot of people. Sometimes I shouldn't leave the house, even though I need to go do something. I probably better not. It's still really hard to talk about because I had one at work, and or I had another one at work. I had like 3 or 4 of them at work now I think about it. But it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. Because I go into fight or flight, and I'm waiting for the day that I have one and someone calls the cops and I get shot, honestly. I mean, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic about it, but that's a fear. I'm because of who and what I am, and if I'm in a rage, shit, I am target number one, and that is real. That's a real concern for me, because no one is going to look at me and think this person is in crisis, they need help. They're going to look at me and go, this is a monster, we need to put him down. And that's the way it's always been. That's the way I've always felt. Everyone was always afraid of me just because of how I looked, because I was bigger than them, or some societal stereotype. And they still do it. I mean, the AP lead at my store that I work at, man, this guy, he took one look at me and immediately said criminal. And he does that with everyone. Do I think that if he sees me having a panic attack, he's going to treat it? No. No, he's not going to treat me like someone in crisis. He will. I guarantee he'll call the cops. He'll do everything to get me fired. Maybe that's paranoia. I don't know. But that's when you lose jobs because of mental illness. I mean, even saying that you're taking medication for mental illness gets you on a short list. And knowing that doesn't help the anxiety attacks. No pressure. There was a time that the anxiety attacks and panic attacks were very, very rare. They didn't happen all the time for me. They were either out of the blue, or it was an indicator that I was having more stress in my life than I thought I was. So it was a time for me to take an inventory of what's going on. And now I don't have time to dissect and go, what started this, what triggered it, what can I avoid? I just go, oh, okay, that happened again. And when the next one hits, it's like, okay, that happened again. And when one doesn't happen, I wonder, okay, when is it going to happen again? This is my life. This is me being a hermit for my own safety. People ask me why I don't drive. Well, there's one reason. Then I know I am not a weak person. I am too strong-willed to have survived what I have survived if I was weak. God, it feels like weakness every time I have one. And when it's every single day, y'all wonder why I drink.